Hi, I'm Dr. CHRISTIANE Northrup, an OBGYN physician and authority on everything that can go right with your body and your health. And I'm here to tell you how to use this knowledge to transform your health and truly flourish. Society has programmed us to think that women who are not thin lack self-discipline and willpower. This diet culture is everywhere. Popular diets today include paleo, keto, clean eating, Weight Watchers, and many more. If you have ever felt guilty about your food choices, you are probably approaching the experience of eating from a diet mentality, even if you don't subscribe to one of these popular diets. And if you have a diet mentality, you will always be dieting and probably never lose weight or keep it off, even if you do. In this video, I will share with you ways you can lose the diet mentality forever, improve your relationship with food, get healthier and happier, and maybe even lose weight. So how do you know if you have the diet mentality? A diet is any food or eating plan that is restrictive. You most likely have a diet mentality if you can relate to any of the following statements. You routinely avoid foods that you love. You avoid eating all day so that you can binge at dinner. You weigh yourself several times a day. You beat yourself up if you weigh a pound or two more than usual. You let your weight determine your mood. You starve yourself only to gulp whatever is in sight later. You constantly say to yourself, I'll start my diet tomorrow. Or you know the caloric count of almost every food. So why don't diets work? First, most diets don't help you maintain your weight loss long term. And there is this myth that people fail at diets because of a lack of willpower. This untruth is perpetuated by the diet industry. The real reasons why diets don't work include: when you're dieting, you're more likely to notice and be tempted by food. And as you begin to lose weight, the hormones that make you feel hungry actually increase, and the hormones that help you feel full decrease, so you want to eat more. When you restrict calories, your metabolism slows down. Your body uses calories in the most efficient way possible. So when you restrict calories too much or for too long, your starvation response kicks in. Calories get stored as fat. And even if you're among the small percentage of people who maintain long-term weight loss by dieting, you need to ask yourself, what are you giving up in order to achieve it? What good does it do to have an ideal body if you have to sacrifice eating out, socializing with friends, engaging in activities outside of counting calories, and exercising obsessively? So, factors that affect your way of eating. There are so many factors at work that ensure that your attempts at dieting will fail. These include biologic, metabolic, hormonal, and neurologic factors. There are also factors that are less frequently considered that are equally important: emotions, and the fact that food is a highly charged emotional issue for women. As you already know, your thoughts and perceptions affect every aspect of your health. This includes your weight. Have you ever wondered how a seemingly healthy woman who eats right and exercises gets ill or stays fat, while another woman who smokes, drinks, eats poorly, avoids illness, and stays slim? I can confidently say that the key is her emotions. For example, if you feel guilty about eating, it doesn't matter if you eat brown rice and vegetables. You'll have chronically high levels of cortisol, leading to carbohydrate and fat binges. If you're an emotional eater or have difficult emotions around food and eating, I suggest that you explore issues of your third chakra, right here, the solar plexus, your genetic heritage. Your genetic heritage plays an important part in how food affects us. The Pima Indians of the Southwest have an 80 to 90% risk of developing diabetes unless they stick to their native diet of squash, beans, and low glycemic index foods. In families with large numbers of alcoholics, there's an inherited tendency toward hypoglycemia and sugar cravings. It's always best to work with your genes rather than trying to fight them. And when I say genes, I mean the whole, we would call it really your Akashic record, the kind of things that go through time and are handed down in families, the cultural and family heritage. So in many families, a woman's value is determined by how often she cooks and how much she feeds others. It's very difficult to stay slim if you are constantly preparing food for others. but never have it served to you. Every family and culture has a unique relationship with food, so what is yours? Then also there's macronutrient intake, that's fats, proteins, carbohydrates, and then there's micronutrients. You need all of these in the right amounts and types to create a hormone balancing food plan. You need protein. Most experts still don't agree on the right amount of protein. Many women don't get enough high quality protein, especially if they follow high carbohydrate, low fat diets or have eliminated animal products from their diets. I find that if I eat a bit of protein at each meal, I have more energy and I'm less hungry throughout the day. You've got to judge for yourself what your protein needs are. Fats. Fats are a really sticky area for women. Why? Because we've been taught to avoid them. Low fat has been the trend since you remember Stop the Insanity by Susan Powter? Well, the insanity was eating all that pasta and all that white rice and all those potatoes, making it low fat. That's why the sugar increased dramatically in the diet in the 80s, and people have been fatter ever since. Fat does not make you fat, it's sugar. So I can't stress enough how important healthy fats are, especially omega-3 fats. They are necessary for the production of good eicosanoids. The functioning of every cell in the body, particularly the nervous system tissue, needs good fats. Now, carbohydrates, we all need some, but not all carbs are created equally. You need to avoid high glycemic carbohydrates, which means they convert to glucose in the body very quickly and spike your blood sugar. You need to eat carbohydrates that contain a lot of fiber and have a low glycemic index, meaning that they convert to glucose very slowly in the body. That would be things like brown rice, squash, sweet potatoes. Now, micronutrient intake. Micronutrients include vitamins, minerals, trace elements, and phytonutrients. Ideally, you should be able to get all of the micronutrients you need from food, but guess what? Nobody's going to do that, which is why I always recommend that we use a good multivitamin. A healthy, well-balanced diet is a kind of an evanescent thing, right? Because there are days you're going to skip breakfast and days you can't get to dinner. So remember, the nutritional value of food today is highly dependent on where the food was grown, when it was harvested, what the quality of the soil or water was when it was grown. Organically grown foods typically have a much higher nutritional content and value. So if you feel you need additional support, and I think most of us do, use nutritional supplements. Look for a good manufacturing process nutritional supplement, that's GMP, which means that they're made in a facility that has the same standards as a drug. Okay, so not food grade, but actually pharmaceutical grade nutritional supplements. What about the environment and relationships? Where you eat and with whom can have a huge impact on how well nourished you are. So allow yourself to fully focus on the food you eat at mealtime. There's this wonderful term, breaking bread with others, even if you're gluten-free and don't eat bread. When we eat with others and we fully enjoy the meal, the food is processed in entirely different ways. There's lower stress chemicals, and you're going to find that you can eat much less and fully feel satisfied. Eat without watching television, or especially without reading the news. Can you imagine the bad news from the entire planet set to evocative music while you're trying to nourish yourself? That is a bad combo. Don't talk with your mouth full. Chew your food completely. Eat slowly and mindfully. And this will allow your body to metabolize your food properly. Here's what I would suggest. Do that with one meal a day. The rest, do whatever you need to do. Banish guilt talk about food. Women are always doing this. Oh, I shouldn't have eaten it. Stop it. Now, food chi, let me talk to you about that. In Oriental medicine, there is a belief that everything in the universe is composed of chi, energy or life force, that is responsible for all creation. The human body is considered to be a mini universe housing 12 energetic channels through which chi flows. Chi can be both inherited and acquired. Food is acquired chi. packaged or processed foods with long shelf lives have no chi. When you look at it, if the life expectancy of the food is greater than your own body, don't eat it, it's dead. Food that is fresh from the garden is alive and brimming with chi. And medical medium Anthony William talks about a particular probiotic that's on produce that is locally grown and organically grown that gets into the ileum that you have for life. So I always like to go into my little tiny garden, eat a cherry tomato without washing it. Because, first of all, I don't use any pesticides, but food like that or an apple off a tree in the wild will contain really good probiotics. Then, food that's prepared with love and care will have more chi than that which is prepared by people who dislike what they're doing. I went to a yoga retreat once, and you could tell that the people doing the food hated it, and they felt like they shouldn't have to do this in order to do the programs, to get in on the yoga for free. And I had such indigestion the entire time, even though the food was vegan and organically grown. My body just was picking up on all the other stuff. Now, traditional Chinese medicine uses the principles of complementary and opposing energy to determine a balanced diet, and I kind of love this. Yin energy is female, earth energy, yang energy is male, and heaven. So there's yin energy, earth energy coming up, male energy, heaven coming down. There are 5 tastes: spicy, sweet, sour, bitter, salty. In Ayurveda, you combine all of that. The idea is that you can balance your deficiencies and blocked chi with the proper food. So if you are too cold, or yin, you eat more spicy and warm or yang foods such as scallions or ginger. In macrobiotics, it makes complete sense that, for instance, in Maine, where I live, you want more yang foods, animal foods, stews, long cooked with more heat in them in the winter time. Whereas if you live in Southern California, then cooling salads and fruits make more sense. So if you change your diet, you change the way the chi moves through your system. So how do you stop dieting? So instead of dieting, eat and live by these healthy habits. Everyone should do this. This is a way of life. Reduce or eliminate refined sugar. Even honey, even maple syrup sometimes. Sugar acts like an opiate in the body, whether it's white foods, candy. Alcohol is the same as sugar, by the way. It literally medicates pain, both emotional and physical. But beware, sugar is 8 times more addictive than heroin in susceptible individuals. And you may find yourself in a vicious cycle that makes it very difficult to stop eating sugar if you use it to boost your mood, hold difficult feelings at bay, or improve your tolerance for physical pain. This is not about willpower or you feeling or being bad. It's about understanding the chemistry that fuels cravings and then doing something about it. To recover from sugar addiction, you need to find ways to create the neurotransmitters of happiness and fulfillment without the sugar. So, think about the last time you were madly and deeply in love. Were you craving sugar or other illicit means to boost your self-esteem? No. You felt high on life, emotionally full, and you probably thought very little about food, unless it was to plan a romantic dinner. Now, the reason why that works is that when you're in love, your prolactin, your bonding hormones, your oxytocin, your nitric oxide are all at a big high, with beta endorphin too, which is a natural opiate that the body produces. You can actually train your body to feel that way regularly. So how do you recover from sugar addiction? Eat a low glycemic diet that doesn't spike your blood sugar. And to make this sustainable, you've got to engage in alternative activities that raise nitric oxide levels, such as having sex. If you don't have a partner, be your own partner. Set the stage for self-pleasuring. Start with a luxuriating activity like stretching, following a bubble bath, reading a steamy novel, creating a sexy playlist from Spotify. Then exercise 30 to 45 minutes a day, 4 to 5 days per week. Studies show that exercise can decrease depression by 50%. This can be as simple as taking a walk. The trick to a successful exercise regime is to stop thinking about it as a way to lose weight and decrease body fat. Instead, just because it feels good. Set reasonable fitness goals, like put on the shoes and say, I will walk 10 feet out my door. If you just put on your shoes and get ready, chances are you're going to keep doing it. And I want you to enjoy the process. Feel the wind on your face. I would not recommend taking a walk with headphones unless you live in an area where it's, there's no great nature sounds. But listen to the birds. Feel the wind on your face. Also, meditation. Many women work too hard, worry too much, sleep too little. A stressful lifestyle results in high levels of the stress hormones cortisol and epinephrine. These stress hormones cause us to crave sugar and put on weight. They also wreak havoc with your sex hormones. Meditation, however, lowers stress hormones, so try meditating 15 minutes twice a day. Engage in regular pleasurable activities because pleasure increases nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide is the uber neurotransmitter. It balances all the others, the serotonin, the beta endorphin, the dopamine. Bring sweetness into your life. You don't need to eat the sweetness, bring other sweetness in. How do you do that? Have lots of contact with humans or pets. I was just talking with a friend who got a cat. She didn't know how fabulous cats can be. They really can bring in great sweetness. Dance. Put on a song and dance around your own apartment or house. Go to the theater. Find a new social group to do things with. Eat healthy fats, avocado, flax oil, even grass-fed butter. Remember, most low-fat diets are laden with sugar and highly processed carbohydrates. Pastas, grains, bread, cereal, white potatoes. Even health bars are often loaded with sugar. Read labels. These foods can trigger a rapid increase in insulin and cause weight gain. Low-fat diets can also trigger your fat cells to hoard calories for themselves, leaving too few for the rest of your body. You remain hungry and often overeat. You know that TV show, The Biggest Loser? All those people who were forced into excessive activity and 1,200 calories a day or less regained the weight. Why? Because their metabolic level fell dramatically so that they have to eat less and less to maintain that weight loss. It has nothing to do with willpower. So, even if you reduce calories to stave off weight gain, your fat cells will continue to hoard more calories and you will get fatter. In fact, stop counting calories altogether. Calories sort of count, but not nearly as much as getting your metabolism right from all these other things I'm talking about. Eating healthy fats turns off your body's starvation responses, so you are able to eat whenever you're hungry and until you're fully satisfied. Replace sugar-laden foods with low-carb foods and healthy fats. Olive oil, nuts, dark chocolate. These can all help you recover from sugar addiction and lose weight by keeping you feeling full. In addition, these healthy fats help to lower your insulin levels. They decrease cellular inflammation. You can get a better night's sleep. They quell that sugar addiction once and for all. And you don't have to count calories, which is really a bad idea. Now, I want you to try, some of you, intermittent fasting. Dr. Jason Fung, a nephrologist from Toronto, Canada, has done work that shows that 12 hours of fasting per day very effectively lowers insulin levels in almost everyone. It takes 12 hours of no food to get your insulin levels back to normal. Remember, insulin is a storage hormone. It literally wants to store energy as fat. Here's how you do it. You stop eating by 7 p.m. at night and don't eat anything until the following morning at 7 a.m. That's easy, right? It's an easy 12-hour fast. Over time, you can increase your fast to longer periods of time when convenient. Fasting, when done right, works for everyone. It doesn't lower your metabolic rate or result in the loss of muscle. It changes your weight set point very often. Most people have a set point range of 10 to 20 pounds, where their body kind of stays. Many athletes train in a fasting state. You can also use EFT, the tapping for emotional freedom. It's a scientifically proven, very practical way to decrease stress hormones in your body. Studies show that people who use tapping recover very quickly from whatever ails them, often in just a few sessions. So, in order to stop dieting and experience sustainable weight loss or to stay at the weight you are. You have to address the underlying emotions, the patterns of belief, the traumas, and more, and tapping has the effect of releasing the emotional memories associated with your eating habits, beliefs, and weight. And once you know what's causing your diet mentality and weight gain, other than living in the culture the way it is, tapping can help you eliminate these causes. Also, we need salt. Salt your food with either Celtic sea salt or Himalayan sea salt. Good quality salt supports adrenal function. It's very easy to become mineral deficient, especially if you exercise or are under stress. And when you are sodium deficient, cortisol and insulin levels will be out of whack, muscles can become stiff, sodium relaxes soft tissue, and studies show that the adverse effects of too little salt include insulin resistance, increased risk of death from heart failure in patients with heart failure, increased risk of death from both type 1 and type 2 diabetes, elevated LDL cholesterol and triglycerides, low blood pressure. And this can be of particular concern for athletes and the elderly. According to the book The Salt Fix by author James D. Nicoli Antonio, who is a PhD in pharmacy, all humans gravitate toward a salt intake of 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams per day. This amount holds true for people across all populations, in all hemispheres and climates, and across a range of cultures and social backgrounds. Salt, in fact, has been so important in human history and health that we have the phrase, worth its salt. He's worth his salt. And this is because the amount of sodium intake, this amount, is optimal, and it's driven by the hypothalamus, the part of the reptilian brain that keeps your body in homeostasis. So don't worry so much about salt. Now, just basic old sodium chloride, not so good. Himalayan or Celtic sea salt, or the salt in seaweed, that's good. Diets such as paleo or keto and medications can cause sodium loss. If you eat whole foods, add more healthy salt. Unprocessed, all-natural foods are low in sodium. Adequate salt intake can help you stay hydrated, prevent muscle cramps, support a healthy nervous system, support a healthy metabolism, help you sleep better. So, add a little Celtic sea salt to your food, not regular table salt. Or, here's what I do, you put a pinch of Celtic sea salt in warm water first thing in the morning, gargle it, then swallow, or just put, that will actually structure your water. Now, have you heard the term electrolyte? Electrolyte means how you make electricity move through something. Your body is electricity. A little pinch of Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt in the water will absolutely hydrate you better and get your nervous system functioning well. Finally, when it comes to a healthy way of eating, I believe what my dear friend, the late Louise Hay, used to say, changes that happen through self-abuse and denial are transient, but changes that are loved into being are permanent. For more inspirational tips, visit my blog, exploredrnorthrup.com, where you will find wisdom for your body, mind, and spirit. Visit daily to discover the connection between your thoughts, beliefs, physical health, and life circumstances. And remember, you are in the driver's seat of your health, and you can make profound changes.